Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Ethereum, Solana and injective price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. We're gonna start here with injective on the 1 hour chart where we are looking at an impulse toward the downside after, of course, potential 1-2-1-2. We got a wave 3 downward and we still see kind of like continuation of a corrective wave or of course a downtrend here still unfolding as a diagonal in of course zigzags where we see 1 2 and then wave 3. It might still be unfolding of course for these fib levels here as an A, B and a C, and then 4 and a 5 toward the downside. That because, of course, on the daily for injective on the macro level here, we are still looking at a potential 1-2-1-2, but this wave 2 is not finished yet. And that because, of course, after 3 waves down for wave A, we got 3 waves up for wave B, and we're looking for something impulsive downward. Now we see, of course, the wick has took the fib levels required, of course, for this bear market, which it was, of course, unexpected, very fast bear market liquidation for everyone almost, which is of course horrible. But yeah, at the end, of course, the things are still going to need time, because of course we don't want to forget that the time and the structure is very necessarily here to finish, of course, something as a potential wave C or a wave Y, meaning if we are in 3 ways down, 3 ways up, at least you're looking for another 3 ways down. So I'm looking to fill actually this area somehow with some prices here in a form of a structural A, B, and a C, potentially somehow like this as a zigzag for a wave Y, or as a potential diagonal. Nobody know. One more additional wave here for wave C. This is how it might, of course, end up. Wave B here or there. It depends, of course, if we are in a W, X, and a Y or in a wave C. And that means, of course, we might still see continuation for lower prices right now, and a deeper complex structure. I believe that is gonna form here. It's gonna take time for the crypto market. I know, guys, it might be a little bit boring, but the things, yeah, it is what it is. This is a crypto market, and of course, this time was a very tricky that we never got something like this before in a bear market very fast, because yeah, I don't know, each time it's gonna do a surprise for us. Of course, it's not gonna give you another signal that we're dropping very massively. So yeah, somehow, of course, with the help of the ETFs, of the waves of the Wall Street, of course, we can see, of course, something like this. By all means, manipulation, yes, definitely. So basically, we are looking here, yeah, still to fill, of course, a structure. It's not necessarily anymore to take the low, by the way, guys. It's not necessarily to take the wick. It is what is more important is to fill a structure here, and of course with the required time for an ABC or WX and a Y. Minimum requirement time here that we might have, of course, a diagonal or a zigzag. So that it regarding injective. So nothing yet, of course, to be clear. I would say internally on the micro, if we come back just before this, the target might, of course, move towards the $7.31. And we need to see a rebound. Definitely, of course, it's going to be a rebound after, of course, finishing this potential diagonal. Here we are in A, B, and a C. Of course, that's why you are looking for an expanding flat here, A, B, and a C. Of course, higher prices a little bit for this expanding flat after a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, A, B, and a C for a wave B, and then we drop down. Okay, so nothing yet is clear, of course, for bullish, especially after this wave there. It looks very corrective and complex, hitting the 1-to-1 fib level, and nothing yet is bullish. That is regarding injective. Let's see Ethereum. For Ethereum, we are looking also at something interesting, which is, of course, the double 1-2 here. And after having a 3 ways down, we have 3 ways up. And currently, we are looking at something as a triangle, which is very interesting. So if this is an A, B, C, D, and an E, this is very interesting. I mentioned this, that it might be, of course, a wave Y in W, X, and a Y. And if this is a case scenario, which, of course, we got a signal for it, and we see higher prices right now on the 15-minute chart, something impulsive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This might be a signal for Ethereum because Ethereum is still in bullish scenario where we have 1-2, 1-2 potentially, and then we move towards the upside for new highs. So Ethereum, even with the drop, as I mentioned, it was a perfect drop 0.38 because this is a minimum anyway requirement for a wave 2. This was the minimum requirement. And currently, after W, X, and Y, this is very interesting to see, of course, something moving towards the upside, which it might be the case for Solana. For Ethereum, sorry. And in this case, I'm looking definitely on the daily here for the following scenario, where we have here a double 1-2, and I'm looking for a wave 3-4-5 toward the upside. And that means right now, if this is a finished wave 2 so far, you're looking for a wave 3, of course, as an impulse between the 10K. I would say yes, very likely to get a 10K here, especially after a very, very long correction, 1-2, 1-2. Yeah, it's very likely, of course, to get a 10K here for Ethereum. Yep, so these are the updates for Ethereum. Ethereum, I mentioned already that nothing is bearish in it yet, and we're still, of course, bullish, and here we are. For Solana, of course, we are looking here at still potential 1-2, another double 1-2 followed. We're still ranging inside the perfect fib level for a wave 1-2 here. Now, inside this wave 2, we can see, of course, a potential A, B, and a C. Now, if this wave C is not finished yet, which it can be in several forms, double 1-2, 3-4-5, 4-5. However, we see the same as for Ethereum here in a very interesting triangle that it is unfolding over there. And if this is a case scenario where we are having also a potential triangle here, we can also potentially consider W, X, and a wave Y here as a triangle, and that we move toward the upside, especially that the 15-minute chart is looking very, very impulsive. Right, so the things here for Solana and Ethereum are showing, of course, something interesting after these triangles. In case that this triangle is an A, B, C, D, and an E, okay, we might move down because you might be in 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But in case that we are in a finished kind of like 3 ways down here, and you might be in potential other triangle, also you might move down. But of course, if you are here in different potential A, B, C, like from here, A, B, C, D, and an E from the top, sorry, A, B, C, D, E, that means, of course, we move towards the upside. But basically, of course, this scenario is still a little bit far. Possibility to happen for Solana is much higher possibility for Ethereum. Why? Because Ethereum has already a 3-way structure, 3 ways up, and then of course having this this triangle. Why Solana is a little bit different. It's a little bit different, and you can see here kind of like an impulsive wave. Wave A, wave B, and if wave C is still unfolding, yes, it can be, of course, something as diagonal. But yeah, to be watched, actually, it's very interesting what we are watching. It can be, of course, like a W, X, and a wave Y, just simply like this, and then we move for higher. Yeah, so these are the possibility here. But of course, we need to take this high. We need to take this high to see, of course, new all-time high. So invalidation of bearish still required. Confirmation for higher also still required for Solana as well. Yep, so these are the possibility for Solana, Ethereum, and Injective. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.